Hey everyone, welcome to the course, and today we will be covering all about Flexbox. So let's understand why do we need Flexbox. The first and foremost thing is that whenever we create any of the web pages, alright, for that we also need to create a responsive website. That means it is going to be perfect for every screen. That means the font is going to be smaller, the alignment is going to be different, the image size is going to vary from screen to screen. Screen devices, what do I mean by that is desktop, laptop, your iPhones, your iPads, your tablets, so all comes under different screens. So it's very important for us to make any website screen friendly. That means if user opens my website on the phone, so it looks absolutely great, okay, without any hassle, without creating any hassle for the user. So that's what we are going to learn. So whenever we use Flexbox, we can create whole of the website responsive, not perfectly but almost responsive. So that we need to make responsive a little later. So for that thing, media queries I will be covering in the next lecture. For that, let's understand first that how Flexbox works. You remember that we have covered some properties called display, right? Display block, display inline block, display inline. So the Flexbox is not a property. For me, it's a module, because inside this Flexbox we have multiple properties which are under this. So let's see how these things work. So for that, let's have our boilerplate, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have container. So let's have some container like this one. I'm going to have one, okay? And to this, I'm going to do. So this is the simplest way in which you can understand that how Flexbox works. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand, okay? So first of all, I have one image for Flexbox illustration that you need to understand. See, here you have one outer container which is the parent container. What do I mean by that is, let's see, this is the Flexbox. So to this div, I want to have a style. Select the div, and how you will implement the display property by saying it display flex. Okay, so I obviously want to give it a height of 30 pixel, or let's have 20, and width also I'm gonna have 20 pixel. I think 40 would be enough. And yes, I want to give it a radius of 50 pixel. It's going to be border radius, okay, 50 pixels. So let's go and open this with the live server. So the first thing you can notice over here is these are not visible, the boxes. Why so? Because we have not given any background color to this. So I am not even going to give it the same background color, but for now let's show you how you can give it. So let's have a hot pink color to all of these. So see how these elements are working, okay? These are not in the center. So I want to put a text align center, because I want to show that whether the property works or not. So you can see that here it is not working because I have not used something like that, okay? So for that, just remove the radius, because you will able to understand that why this wasn't working and how we can help these things to work. Now see, when I apply display property flex, the flex was not working here because the flex is not applied over here. Why? I will tell you. Now see, when I remove the flex property, it automatically get aligned to center. Now let me just put it a margin of 5 pixel so that this can have margin from all the sides. See, okay. But what do I want is, I want to apply the flex property. So for that, now let's see. You need to have one outer container, whereas these flex items, that means this 1, 2, 3 is going to be children, and this containers needs to have one parent element. That means you need to wrap this thing in one single div. So for this, you will have one parent element, and these 3 divs, these 3 containers are going to be children of that particular thing. Okay, so now instead of this thing, let's put it a class of flex, or item 1, item 2 would be great. Item 1, item 2, that means it's children. Okay, so now select item and class with item 3. Give this class name as parent so that you will understand that we do require one parent element. Okay, so now select this dot item 1. So let's give it a background color, but obviously not red. We'll have something lighter one. Okay, similarly copy this thing and paste it over here and give it a different color. I think that would be enough. And to this, let's add something. Okay, wait. Perfect. So these 3 container now will look something like this. Okay, item 2, I need to name it as item 2, item 3, item 3. Okay, so why this is not working border radius? Because I have given this border radius to the parent container. So I need to add to all this, so it will be in circle now. Add a padding of 5. Okay, so instead of giving all this property again and again, do one thing. Just put child, so it will have 2 classes. One class will have same name so that we can apply, we don't have to repeat the same property again and again. So put this border radius to this child, so it will automatically get applied to all of them. Okay, so see, border radius is applied to all the container. Now give it a padding of 10 pixel. Great. And now give this margin of 5. Okay, so these are looking something like this, but I want to give it different height and width to this and add some height like 800 pixel or 600 pixel, and width also 600 pixel. Okay, and a background color, so that you will get to know that some things are varying. Okay, so select some light color. Yeah, so this is perfect, and I want to make it a little darker so that it is more visible. See, so this is the parent container. Now these are children. Okay, so what I want to do is, see here, these are cross axis. Cross axis means that you will have vertical axis over here. That means your cross is going to start from here and it is going to end here. Okay, similarly your main is horizontal axis. That means your element is moving horizontally and cross means vertically. So remember that nothing major is there. Cross means your vertical and your main means horizontal. Okay, so let's apply flex property. So now we are looking at the only parent property. Afterwards we'll look for the children properties. Okay, so for the parent one, you have to apply display flex. That means by default the elements were horizontally, but you want to make vertically, but you want to make it horizontal. So for that you will use a property called display flex. Okay, so see, now these three containers or these three flex item or children are now vertically. So there is property called flex direction, and it takes 4 values. By default it is row. That means you will specify flex direction row or not, it is going to be in row, because as soon as you apply flex, the children elements make them align horizontally. And if you put row reverse, that means your whole element, your whole row is going to reverse. First 3 will come, then 2, then 1. Check out. See, whole row is reversed. That means your earlier it was starting from the start and now it is starting from the end. That means the whole row is reversed. Now this is the column. Elements will align in column, and if you put column reverse, it is going to in reverse. See, so for now we are going to have row only. Okay, but see one thing, inspect it, and when you will click on this thing, okay, put it over here, you will see that how this is flex. Now click on this flex, you will see these lines which is separating the containers. Okay, this is the parent one whole and this is the children taking the space. Okay, so let's cover one more property, which is the your justify content. Justify content means that how you want to align your all the elements inside the parent container. For example, I have given justify content flex start. Okay, so it is going to remain in this start. Okay, but if I am going to put it end, so your all the elements will move to end. Where? See here. Okay, end of the container, end of the parent container. But remember, whenever we have justify content, the elements will move horizontally. Whenever we have flex direction as row, justify property behaves or align elements horizontally. Okay, so in the start it was in the start, in the end it was in the end. Now apply center. So with the help of center, these elements will align themselves in the center. Okay, so similarly you have a stretch property. So what do stretch mean? See, whenever you want to apply stretch property, for that you have, see, this will not work. You can't see that whether the elements are stretching or not. For that thing, you need to remove this height and width of the children. Now see, these children will stretch themselves to occupy the full height of the parent container. Okay, I hope you are understanding this. So this is the by default. Whenever you put height and width, it will take that space. So height and width will override those properties. Okay, so this is how stretch works. Okay, so value you have seen: flex start, flex end, center, stretch. Now let's see how space between works. Space between means there will be space between your children elements. Now see, these elements are giving the equal space in between. Okay, so you can go with the space around. When you have space around, that means, see, now these containers are having the space also on their left and right hand side, here also. Okay, that's why you can see there is less space as compared to this, because this will take its own left and right. It will take its own left and right. Okay, this will take its own left and right. Now similarly, you will go space evenly. That means it will have space occupied evenly. See, now you can see equal space from here, here, here and here. So this was your justify content, which will make the elements horizontally aligned. Okay, and in that, in parent container, how you can align your children element. So rest of the properties will cover in the next lecture. Thank you so much everyone.